Hello, fourth graders. Welcome to lesson 2.9, multi-step multiplication problem solving. Hopefully you got some graph paper from your teacher today. You will be needing it to create illustrations of the ideas in the word problems today. You really need to put your thinking caps on for this one. Okay, here is our first word problem. At the Sea Park, one section in the stadium has 9 rows with 18 seats in each row. In the center of each of the first 6 rows, 8 seats are in the splash zone. How many seats are not in the splash zone? Okay, so if you're not reading this very carefully, this could be complicated. But sometimes you need to visualize and use what you know from life. I don't know about you, but I've seen Blue Man Group, and when I think of the splash zone, I think of that area where people have to wear raincoats or ponchos so that they don't get soaking wet or blue paint all over them. So I'm thinking of a section of the theater, and one section in particular is called a splash zone. So let's take some key details. You don't need to write down the word problem, but the details are important. At the Sea Park, let me get my colors here. At the Sea Park, one section in the stadium has 9 rows with 18 seats in each row. That's very clear. Let's write that down. 9 rows, 18 seats in each row. Now, let's read on. Okay, so I'm thinking of like a rectangle. In the center of each of the first 6 rows, 8 seats are in the splash zone. So there's 9 rows there. But in the center of the first 6 rows of those 9 rows are part of the splash zone. And then there's 8 seats among those 18 seats in each row. So let's take some details. Oops. In the center of each of the first 6 rows, 8 seats are in the splash zone. How many seats are not in the splash zone? Oh, that's important. They don't want to know how many seats are in the splash zone. They want to know how many seats are not. Okay, definitely a multiple step problem. All right, so let's take some key details here. We've got 9 rows, 18 sections in each row, and then inside of that, because this is part of this section, we have 6 rows, 8 seats in each row. So that's important information inside of that. Okay, so it would be helpful to draw a diagram of this. So we've got 9 rows with 18 seats in each row. I'm going to go ahead and draw a big rectangle. You do the same, a 9 by 18 rectangle. Okay, excuse me. So I have my rectangle, 9 by 18. And that's showing a picture of the whole section, that one section in the stadium. That must be right up by the stage if there's a splash zone. Or the yeah, so now I also have included my response statement. Blank seats are not in the splash zone. So I've got my details. I'm starting a model. I've already written my response statement. So I know I need to find the ones that are not in the splash zone, but in order for me to find the ones that are not in the splash zone, I have to find the ones that are in the splash zone first. So it says in the center of each of the first 6 rows, there are 8 seats in the splash zone. So I'm going to say that this here is the front. And I'm looking for the center 6. Well, what's 18 divided by 2 is 9. So I'm going to start right in the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right here is the center. And I'm going to make, oops, it's 8. So I'm going to count out 4 each way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So that's 8 total. I'm going to erase that little mark in the middle there. That's right in the center. As you can see, there's 5 squares on each side, on the outside of this. So there's 1 row. Oops, I had my eraser on. There's 1 row. Oops. 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, 4 rows, 5 rows, 6 rows. I'm going to extend this line out too. So there's 6 rows with 8 in each row. That's that splash zone section. Huh, interesting. Okay, so I'm going to do some labeling here. Erase that. There's 8 seats. There's 6 rows. I'm just going to write it really small here. 6 rows this way. Let's see. Okay, so, gosh, you know, what am I going to, I can't just always count squares. So, to me, it looks like if I can find out how many are in the whole section of the stadium and then take away the ones that are in the splash zone, I could have the answer to my problem. So let's see. I'm going to do that. 18 times 9. You know what? I'm going to write that and show it my partial products way that we learned yesterday. 18 times 9. 9 times 8 is 72. 9 times 10, not 1, 9 times 10 is 90. So together in the whole stadium, I have 162 seats. But I don't want to know all of the seats. I need to take away the ones in the stadium. So let's see. In the stadium, we have 6 rows with 8 in each row. Well, that's a basic fact. 48 seats in splash zone. I'm going to S splash zone. Okay, that's in all. So now let's see. Boy, I barely have room to work over here, but I'm going to squeeze it in. If I take all of the seats that are in the stadium and I take away the 48, that are in the splash zone, I'll have the ones that are not in the splash zone. That looks like 114 seats. 114 seats are not in the splash zone. You know what? I have to number my work. That's my first step in computation. Here's my second step. You know what? I'm going to change that. These are all really important. Three. I always want to number my steps. Okay. Okay, so I've already done a little work here. I hope you can see this problem. I know it's kind of small, but I wanted the shark in there because I thought it was kind of cool. So anyways, we have this problem. At the Sea Park, one section of the Shark Theater has 8 rows with 14 seats in each row. In the middle of the section, 4 rows of the seats are reserved. How many seats are not reserved? Okay, so I went ahead and copied down the details that are important. And I drew a model of that one section. And I made a response statement. Blank seats are not reserved. Again, I'm looking for the ones that are not reserved. This is a very similar problem, and not all the problems you do in this lesson are going to be exactly like this. So you need to read carefully and draw some models. Okay, so 8 rows with 14 seats in each row. Middle section, 4 rows of 6 are reserved. How many are not reserved? Okay, so here we go. I'm going to draw this middle section. 4 rows, 6 seats are reserved. So I'm going to start with the 6 seats in the middle. In the middle of 14, half of 14 is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's the middle, 6 on each side. Or 3 on each side, oops. And that's 4 rows. So there's that section. Okay, do some labeling here. I have my 8 by 14. And I have my 4 by 6. I'm going to go ahead and do the math. 14 times 8, that is going to tell me how many seats are in the whole section. And again, I've got something in the middle of this section, and they don't want to know about those seats, so I'm going to take those away. Oop, I'll number my steps when I'm done here. 4 times 6 equals 24. So I've got 112 seats total. And I'm going to take away the 24 that are in the middle section. That leaves 88 seats. 88 seats are not reserved. Again, let's number our steps. 1, 2, 3. Multi-step problem. Okay, let me give you your work. Okay, so you have some real thinking to do here. This is going to take you a little bit of time. Hopefully you have your graph paper and a copy of this sheet, because I know this would be really hard to look at. It's so tiny. But you have 4 deep thinking problems here that you need to make models for. Please take it seriously. This is some of the most important work that you can do. All right, so have fun with this. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.